Hey there, guys. Happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is doing well. Um, I am. I am going to show you guys today how to do those kind of distressed rustic looking pieces that I've been making. But it's a little more than that because I am making the hearts and just all kinds of different stuff. So a couple of things I wanted to tell you before I get started, because I can't advertise on all of the different places that I'm on. I do have a Patreon now where I do exclusive content. My first one I did on Monday. I made these hearts. So I will have a link to my Patreon in the description if you want to join that. Yeah, so anyway, let's get started with this. So it doesn't matter what you roll the clay out on because we're doing it freehand today. So I'm going to start out just with a piece. I'll show you how I make the hearts. So I'm just going to take a piece. This isn't enough. I want to make kind of a bigger one, so. So you're just going to kind of get it into a ball. Doesn't have to be perfectly into a ball. Just kind of roll it around. Excuse me. And then you're going to start to kind of flatten it down on your surface. And what I like to do is just take an X-Acto knife and make a little slit at the top all the way through, and then just kind of work it apart. And that's going to be that top part of your heart there. And from there, you're just going to start molding. And then it depends on what shape you want your heart to be. I like them kind of long and thin. So I kind of press down on the side like this as I'm working it down. Just press and pull and poke and pry until you get it to where you want it. And it doesn't have to be perfect because if you're like me, you're going for organic anyway. Kind of flip it over and do the same with the back also. My nails were longer the other day, so I could get into these crevices, but I cut them yesterday. So just keep flipping and pulling and pressing and until you have something that you kind of like. Kind of like that. I'm going to do just a little more. Get it a little pointier down here. I need to turn my fan off, or my heater off. It's a little warm. Burning my legs under here. Oops. Yeah, that did it. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so this looks kind of good. Look. Again, we are going for that organic look, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, I think I'm gonna be okay with that. So, well, let me see. I'm gonna smush these out a little bit more. And I got a little crack that I need to repair. So I think we're good with that one. So I'm going to put this one to the side because we're going to do a couple of different ways. So we'll put this one over here. And then I'm going to make a pair of earrings that are just kind of free form also. So I want them to be pretty much the same size. So I'm going to cut them out with a cutter. And it doesn't matter which ones. You just want to make sure that you have the same amount of clay for each earring. They're not going to look the same or anything, but you don't want them mass-wise to be super different. So this way you'll ensure you have the same amount of clay for each one. So we're going to do just like an oval with a cutout. I'm sure you guys have seen them. I've been doing them. So I'm just going to round these up. Okay, and then I'm just going to start pressing and pulling and pressing and pulling and pressing and pulling. And this is kind of the shape that I want. That's pretty good. These little cracks, fix those. Don't have to. If you want them in there, keep them. But I'm going to take them out. So again, they don't have to be perfectly alike. These are pretty darn close though. So just kind of work them to how you want them. Okay. So there are two ways to get the effects that we're going to go for today on here. First, I'm going to take my X-Acto, which is in desperate need of a new blade, but it'll work for our purposes. And I'm going to make the markings just across the top. So what I do is you don't go deep. You're just going right on the surface, but just kind of score it down. Just randomly. You don't want to just do straight lines. You want them to kind of be a little off kilter a little bit. I do lines going vertically, and then I just do a couple going across. Like that. You can't really see it until I actually do something to it. So, and then the next thing I do is I take just my little dotting tool and just make a couple little dots. And I don't make them the same on both sides. But yeah, just like that. So with these, I am going to cut a hole in them to hang them. I'm trying to decide what size I want. I think I'm going to do this. Do I want a bigger one? Yeah, I think I'll do a bigger hole. And you can make a hole down here and then drill a hole here if you want. Or just make random holes wherever. Which I think I'm going to do. So I'm going to go smaller. So I'm going to make a random hole here on this one. Get rid of that. And I want it to be different on this, so make it up there on this one. So I'm going to end up drilling holes in these, which is fine. And then I am going to, actually I'll do that after. But so there's two things you can do now. You can pre-baking, if you don't have acrylic paints or anything like that, you can use pastels. And all you would do is just shave some off. I'll show you on a scrap piece here. If you want to use pastels, which you would use, excuse me, before baking, you have your lines and your dots. You would take your pastel. I like to use the gray, and I haven't used the black, so I'm going to try black. But literally, you can use any color you want. But shave some off and take your paintbrush and just get all in there. You want to go all directions because you really want it to get into all of those lines and those dots. And then you're going to take a baby wipe and go across. Oh, this one doesn't want to do it. I think I used too much. Of course, it doesn't want to work today. It is a little bit, but it doesn't want to work well. This is how I originally was doing it too. So it does work, but of course it doesn't want to work for the video today. So anyway, that's one way to do it if you don't have acrylic paints. The other way to do it, if you do have acrylic paints, is to, when it's, after it's baked, we're going to paint it, and I will show you that obviously. So we have these two pieces, and then I'm also going to throw in, gosh, now I have the hiccup. I'm going to put in, what color? Let's go with these. Are kind of cool, and I've never used them. Okay, I'm going to use my handy dandy little tool that I have more coming today because my little tip is, because I really like to cram these in here. So I'm just going to cram it in there. One there, and we'll put one here. Someone asked if these were metal, and hopefully you're watching now and you can see that they are not metal. All right, so we're going to do our little striations in the heart as well. I was going to show you guys how to do this on black clay also, but I don't think that there's a need to do that because I think you probably get the idea. You do basically the same thing except you're going to use white instead of black, obviously. Okay, do I like this? I'm making a mess out of it. Okay, so we'll make our little cuts in here. And our little dots. Now the thing with these is you're not going to really know what it looks like until we do the paint on them. So, but that's okay. So I'm going to put two of these on here, I think. We'll just use the same colors. And I'm going to put one here. I'll put one there. Okay, and then I'll show you how I make a little hanger. Since we didn't make a hole and I don't want to drill one later, let me just show you what this looks like for now. I need to push this in a little farther. I like these kind of in there. And they do not fall out once they're baked. I actually was trying to pick one out the other day and I couldn't get it out. So they're in there really well. Just want to make sure that all my little striations are in there. Okay. Make sure these guys are good. Okay. So to make a little hanger piece, I have somewhere, I'm going to use 22 gauge. I'm just going to nip off a little piece. I'd say it's maybe 3/4 of an inch, if you guys can see that. And then I take my little needle nose. These. And then just right in the center, I'm going to do a little bend. And you can make it as, you know, as far down as you go is how wide the thing is going to be. I go about halfway down my pliers here. And just bend that. And we're going to hold these. Actually, we're going to hold these like this. And then we're just going straight in here. I'm actually going to, excuse me, trim this so that it's even with each other. So that's like that. And then we're just going straight in. And then make sure you kind of give it a little squeeze. That came apart again. This does not want to stay together. I actually don't mind that it's a little, excuse me, I don't know what this cough is. All right, that's okay. That looks, let me look under here. Okay, sorry, I had to do it under my magnifier. Okay, but so that's how it looks with the little hanger. It's got the striations in it. I don't really like this little cleft at the bottom either. Is that better? Okay. I got my beads in there, my holes. I got these all set. So I'm going to go ahead and bake these. And then I will be back to show you the rest of it. So see you in a little bit. Okay, we are back. So I forgot to mention before I bake these that I bake them at 275 for 40 minutes. And the reason I do 40 minutes is because they're a little bit thicker. So these are all, as you can see, nice and baked. So the next thing, the next part that we're going to do is we're going to paint them black. Let me grab a paper towel here. Sorry, guys. And you want to just do one at a time. You don't want to do them all because then the first one is probably going to dry too much. And you don't want that to happen. And I'm praying that this comes off flawlessly. It always does, but that weird thing with the pastels, that never happened before. So always on live camera, that's when that happens. So I just put a little bit on my brush. This is Liquitex Mars Black. And you cover the whole thing. Make sure that you get in all the little crevices. Dab it on in there. And then you can take either a wet baby wipe or just a paper towel, and then you're going to wipe it all off. And it's going to stay right in those crevices and give that little distressed look. See? I wanted a little more than that. I could leave it like that, but I'm going to take more off. The baby wipe does a little bit better job. But just get it to how you want it. I had somehow gotten some red on here. I have no idea where that came from, but so that's how that looks. You guys can see that. So I'll go ahead and do these other two. Really quickly. There's a lot on here, so I'm going to do this one. And it's always fun to see the reveal with these too, because you don't really ever know, you know, how your striations are and your dots and everything else. So it's fun to reveal. And I like them to look a little bit kind of dirty looking because that's kind of the point. They're supposed to be rustic looking. Here's the heart. And then let me do this other earring. You don't really need to worry about filling in the hole of these or doing the back because, like I said, it is a rustic look. So you just don't really need to worry about it. You kind of want that grungy look. Unless you don't, and then you can do whatever you'd like. So that's how the earrings look. And then the heart. And then I'm literally just going to drill holes and make those earrings. And then just attach a chain to the heart, maybe with a beaded chain or something like that. Everything I used, including the seed beads that I put in there, that little bead kit is on my Amazon store, which I will have a link to in the description. If you want to join my Patreon, which would be awesome, it's only $5 a month. And you get exclusive content, you get all the cool stuff that I make for $5 a month. And I'll be doing videos on there every Monday. So yeah, I'll have a link to that in there as well. A link to my Happy Place Facebook page will be on there. And then a new thing I have, because a lot of people couldn't figure out how to tip on the thanks button on YouTube here. I'll have a link to, it's called Buy Me a Coffee. So you can leave me a tip there if you'd like, if you really like this video or any of my videos. I'll have the link on there. So have a great day, guys. Happy New Year. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. And see you next year. Bye.